This is Natalie Rolls, and you are listening to the Bill Podcast. Brought to you in association with GeorgeFairbrother.com, shop.saturdaymorningpress.co.uk, vanguardcomics.co.uk, and gibconsultancy.co.uk. We've got a special guest, and I can't wait to see this person's face again after such a long time. And I can hear that person's voice in my head before I even speak to them. It's a distinctive voice. It's a distinctive person who has had an amazing journey, and I'm so honoured to have worked with him.
How you doing, Boo?
Mr. Bovell!
Hi, so lovely to see you.
The boo word is something I will always connect with you. And I...
Oh, my word.
I wonder how long before he uses boo. Hello, boo. And you did it in the first sentence.
I haven't changed it. You know, I got sent some links of some of the shows because it's like, do I remember? And a lot of things came flooding back and stuff. And you look at it, it's just the same. Beautiful smile. Just amazing. It's so lovely to see you. Gosh, it's been a while, hasn't it?
It's been a good couple of decades.
Yes, as you can see.
We've all aged beautifully.
Baby boo, you know, that's how we do. That's how we roll there, of course.
Well, you've been a busy boy. This decade alone, you've had 25 screen roles.
Really?
Yeah. Mr. Producer Oliver Crocker has done his notes, and I'm looking at it going, 25?
Wow. I need to talk to Oliver, man, see if I can get all that gear together and say, listen, here in my credentials.
Well, you're absolutely on
sweetie,
fire.
That's wow. I never really thought about it. You know what it is, you know, you're just hoping that, you know, you could keep the momentum going, you know, because fundamentally down to the, you know, the basics of the heart of the core of it is that I love the game.
You popped up on Foundation. Were you in Malta? Were you filming out there?
No, those guys went off to do Malta. I was supposed to do that, but that's when the penny dropped. The majority of my stuff was in Limerick in Ireland, and then I had a little bit in Berlin. So I got a chance to go to Berlin, and
beautiful.
That was amazing. And I really just had to stand in a line and just watch my girl walk past and just sort of give her a look as she walked past. Like, okay, Brian, it's done. It's a wrap. I'm like, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. And the strange thing is that when I got to the hotel the first time for the first set, I told my agent, I don't get these. I'm a sci-fi dude. But I never get. No, I don't get it. You know the things you don't get. So I turned up. The producer phones me in the hotel. Suggests, Brian, great, you'll be on board. It's great. Blah blah blah. David will talk to you tomorrow. So don't worry if you've got any more questions and so on and so forth. And I remember reading Foundation at school, and I thought in my head, I thought, wow, how do you make this? And you know what I mean? As a film. So here I am now. On the day now, I've gone down to the studios, huge studios in Limerick. It's massive.
Yeah.
And it's a great thing because they've also got a system set in place where a lot of the locals can come and, you know, learn a trade, learn certain aspects of the trade there as well. So it's a really cool vibe. Anyway, I've gone down there and they've built this fantastic set, and this and the other, and I'm going so I've got to come in and be the seer priest dude, and then and turn around and say, oh, it's David. Oh, hi. And it was David S. Goyer. I went, hello. Yes. Lovely to meet you. Wonderful.
Right. Andor. Ridiculous. That gig.
Oh, yeah. That was definitely a city major. Look, when we got the audition for that, it was untitled. I looked at it and I was trying to find, what's this? And it was just a scene between two people, a prison guard and a prisoner. That was all it was.
Yeah.
But in it, you had to illustrate certain things. You realized, oh, you get angry here, you're vulnerable here. You maybe even get to, there were things, there were signposts along the way. Oh, this should show you that, oh, you can do all those things in this scene. It's very clever in a way, And then I forgot about it because I thought all we knew was Disney. I went, look, I don't get them. I don't know about that. Don't worry about it. And then I think I was in a park and Maiden called me. She said, those things you don't get? I said, yeah. Well, you got it. You sitting down? I wasn't sitting down. But I did make a lot of noise because you go back to rewind, cut back now, wavy, 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 back to 1978, the first day, second showing, Leicester Square Theatre. I was in live for Star Wars. So it's been something, do you know what I mean? It was like, so to be involved in something, and I was in the right one in terms of how they all kind of panned out.
I mean, the set, that, the
girlfriend.
Engineering, the whole look, it was just to... How long did you have to keep that quiet before you were allowed to speak about it? I mean, you must have been just so excited.
Well, the very first day you come in and they set you up in the Winnie Bay, go, B, you got this is you, you're in here, your costume's there, blah, 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 and you're sitting down and you go, all right, lovely. There's a note on the table and directly tells you, listen, no chatty, not the family or the friends don't want to bring it up. Wait for the thing to come out. Really, I was like, wow, what? Not even the first episode when it comes out. This is the level they were playing at. So it was like, yeah, okay, fair enough, cool, fair enough. And then we just got into the storytelling of it, and everybody it was one of those things where everybody really kind of came together. We were people who were supposed to have been spent a lot of time together anyway, and it was really interesting how we all gelled from day one. Even before, some of the guys I met when I came for a costume thing and to see the hair and makeup, and you meet them, it's like, yeah, man, what's happening? But it was just a nice vibe. There was no thing. It was really, and you're in that world.
Had you worked with Andy Serkis before?
No, I've never worked with him before, and to watch him work as well, that's a great thing as well. As an actor, as somebody with the game, my door is always open. I'm always open to, I'll get the notebook out if I'm seeing it going on, because you're always learning. It isn't the thing that I went to this place and I went to that place and that's that. It's not a sprint, it's a long distance run. And it was amazing to watch him work, his work, and how he just gives everything in that moment, Diego Luna was amazing, because they had a break because of the pattern. They had a break. So he'd been away from home for like a year.
Wow.
By the time we did our stuff, because our stuff was the last stuff they actually shot.
Epic. What a thing to be involved with.
And when it came out, the trailer, when I saw the trailer, I was like, well, actually, I think, wait a minute, I'm in this. I was like, wow. I mean, everybody, the cast was amazing. Amazing Nina Gold, she's amazing. She just knows. She's just amazing.
And you've even got a profile on StarWars.com.
Yeah, I know. I should go to Star Wars with someone and say hello. From day one to the end of it was just amazing. It was an amazing time. I think the thing was about it, when I think back about, science fiction in a way, or what kind of got me into that sort of thing, was that as a youngster, there were a lot of things that you faced in the world that were very negative due to your composition. Sci-fi was a way where your imagination could go to places where it's not going to be like this. It's going to be something else. There's a possibility that it could be this, it could be that, whatever, so on and so forth. And I've always kind of been attracted to things like that. So to actually be part of some of them, I'm like...
That is phenomenal history, Brian. That is so special. And the big Comic-Con events, when you see fans dressing up as you in cosplay, that's like...
That's when you suddenly realise the importance of story, the effect it can have, on many people. When you go to those people are coming from everywhere, walks of life, everywhere, but they are all drawn together, and I vibe off of that. I think that's a positive thing.
Absolutely.
Look, this is how we affect.
Going back, when did you get the acting bug? Any performers? Have you got any performers in the family apart from your son? But were your parents
No, my parents weren't in the game at all. My older brother, he was first black DJ on commercial radio. He used to have a show called Reggae Time on BBC Radio London on a Sunday, and that also sort of broadened my horizons in terms of what is possible and music and so on and so forth. And creative was the thing. Well, I think it kind of started when I was 5, growing up on radio. My dad finally said, "We're going to go to movies," and we were dressed up, had a tweed suit on, a green tweed suit, a grey shirt, and a yellow bow tie. Off we went to the movies, which is across the road, by the way.
Where was this? Which part of London was
Tottenham.
it?
This is in Tottenham. So of course, across the road, and we're going to the place. The lights go down, and then the screen comes up, and it feels like when you kid, it envelops you. You know what I'm saying? It's like you fall into it. And like every moment was happening. It was West Side Story, and every moment it's happening. It's like, and it's all this thing that's going on, and you're like, what? And the story was so well told, and towards the end, because sad ending, I saw a little tear in my mum's eye, and I'd never seen my mum tears in her eye.
Oh.
And so I was fascinated with the fact that this was able to do that to her. Do you know what I mean? That brought that out.
Absolutely,
Like, wow,
yeah.
That started the sort of the ball rolling. But at that time, I've always thought that actors lived in a city in the sky, and they floated by. And when they were needed, there was a special phone. You'd phone them up. Would you come down and be brilliant? And they'd be brilliant, and then they go back up to the. It was much later than I discovered that there was a possibility of pursuing that. My French teacher, who actually I rented a room from back in the day, he gave me a list of youth theatre groups, because he and one of my English teachers said, "Oh, you're really good at it. You should think about it." I was like, "Really?" But but again, my dad was more. It was more, books and study, and I did various jobs prior to it all. I was working for Masons of Fleet Street, a law firm, and if I followed this course, I could have gone into litigation. I could have got a nice little job there. And there was a dude, one of the dudes that he really liked me, and he kind of wanted to bring me on his wing, and he was saying, "Look, do this course, because then you could do this. You could do conveyancing and blah blah blah. There's a lot of money." And he had a place in town and a place in out in the country and rural. And he said, 5 years time, you'll be just like me. And as he was walking out, I was thinking, When I look back on it, I think to myself, you could see that that was the love of the genre. I think the love of it, and my dad taking me to museums and to art galleries, and me going around to art galleries and stuff. He used to send me off. Some people in the 6 weeks always. He sent me on this project. He gave us a project. A project. I want you to go to the museums in London, Victoria and Albert, Jeffreys Museum, Natural History Museum, Science Museum, and I travelled around.
He got your inspiration going for this in a sense, didn't he?
In a sense, I think when I look back on it now, it's a sense of an exercise of discovering what the world is around you, without discovering what the world is around you. Do you know what I mean? And years later, I was doing the Black Jacobins at the Riverside Studios. I came out to see my mum. They're by the door, ready to go. I'm like, I didn't realise my dad was so shy. Anyway, I went to him and and I said to him, "Dad, because what he used to do on a Saturday is he'd go, right, get me out of bed. Saturday, I don't need to. There's no school. What? He'd get the little cup, fling the water in my face. Get up out of bed. And get out of bed.
Nice.
And I'll be wanting to go swimming with my mates down by the local pool. So I'm ready. I've got my little pocket money. I used to do the little paper round. So I've got my paper round go. I'm good. I'm about to go. He goes, "Where are you going?" He knows where I'm going. Well, I'm going to go down to swim. Well, right. And he'd look around and he'll get a book. Get that book. I want you to stand in the middle of the place, and I want you to read the first chapter out aloud, and then you can go. And then if it was a week where homework was a bit scant, and then you'll go, right, I want you to read the first chapter, then I want you to write about it so I know that you understood what it is that you read. So years later, when he came to the theatre, I said to him, Dad, you should have let me go swimming, man. Should have let me go swimming. I must be in an office job right now, just doing whatever. But I didn't know at the time, no one does that in a weird way, that kind of helped you. You know, you try to do your homework before Star Trek starts, you know, because, you know, after Star Trek is bedtime. So I'm trying to do my homework. I get, yeah, there it is. And he goes, all right. He says, did you read it out loud? And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And I'm, you know, I can hear, and now on BBC One, and that's happening. So I'm yeah, Dad, yeah. And then he go, oh, well, read it out loud for me then. Oh man, it's going to start me. So I'll read it out, and I suddenly realized, oh, well, what I meant to say was, yes, but you didn't.
You were so aware. You were tuned in.
But well, the inside voice fools you. It's like when we worked on the show, you know, sometimes scripts came, and if you read it out loud, sometimes it's, how am I going to make sense of this?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of travels with you, you know, and so therefore, you know, when you do read something out loud, that's, you know, like a script, or somebody, a friend of yours might have written a script and said, listen, man, you know, the best way to really hear the script is invite a few people around and say it out loud. So,
well, your dad, there you go. He was in a strange way. It gave you the confidence to stand up there and speak, which is half the battle, as you know.
Yeah.
I just want to, because you just touched on, because you're an absolutely massive Star Trek fan, and I saw you had a tribute to Nichelle Nichols on Instagram.
I met her once. I was between agents, and you know that thing when you're between agents, you got a new one. It takes people a while to know that you're somewhere else, and so there's that little dip when that was going on. Oh, I got this opportunity to go to Manchester for the Commonwealth Games and co-host a radio show with a comedian up there and hang out up there. Anyway, one day I'm up there, the producer's phoned me, Brian. He knows I'm into song. Brian, what? Come downstairs now. I go, man, we just finished show. I'm a bit naked. I'll come down a bit. No, come down. Come downstairs. I said, what? He goes, look in the room. You know, they have a little restaurant, a little place where people can sit down and have a little coffee and tea. So look in the room. So look in the room. Who's sitting there? It's Nichelle Nichols. So I've gone straight in. No messing about. Straight. Hello, Miss Nichols. I'm an amazing fan of yours and so. We're working for the BBC at the moment, and so we'd be right for coming and do a little interview for you for the show. This is before podcast for the show. Yeah. And she was like, "Well, okay, I'll give you half an hour tomorrow." She ended up giving me an hour. She's absolutely just the most beautiful soul.
Oh.
And you know, she told me the famous story about, you know, meeting Martin Luther King. She was leaving the show. She was going to leave after season 1. She said, nah, I'm just a glorified secretary. I don't want to do it anymore. And so when she was at the NCCP Awards, and I thought, oh, there's a fan of yours, wants to meet you. Oh, Dr. Martin Luther King. To be honest with you, I'm leaving. I'm jacking it in. They're not. And he went, what? I said, no, you don't understand how important your role is. And no. And he sat down and broke the whole thing down to her. She signed on, and then the rest is history. Yeah, she was amazing. She was absolutely amazing. Amazing human being. And she had green fingers. She really liked the garden. She told me, the things she likes to plant in the garden. She said, I got green fingers. And she was writing a book, and she was on a tour. Yeah, it's a lovely
what
human being.
Lovely meeting of minds and souls there. Wow. I mean, really? Yeah, and I love the fact you just went straight over.
Straight. There was no, oh, wow, what do we do now? I just like straight over. Hi.
Oh, that's an amazing story. Hang on. I've got to do it because I've got the most ridiculous. Can you do it for me? Yeah. Your fingers look so much nicer than mine.
All day, every day. Yes, the track.
Babylon was your first
Oh
screen
wow!
role in the
Yes, it
feature film
was.
Babylon.
Yeah, Babylon.
And
Yeah,
what were your
yeah.
memories of that?
Well, being a film fan, but not knowing the mechanics, that was the fascinating thing about it. We see the finished article.
Yeah.
We don't know how the whole thing is made. I mean, since then, obviously, the process of making films is, for everyone. You can go on Squarespace and what's the other place where you can learn?
Premiere
But
Pro, everyone's,
yeah,
I mean,
everything. That's it.
everyone's a filmmaker, aren't they? That's the
Right.
times then were.
But those times then were different. They were really different. Yeah.
And what was the reaction of that film when it came out?
Well, this is the strangest thing. It was supposed to be at the New York Film Festival, and they banned it because they were scared it was going to cause riots. It was shown at the Edinburgh Film Festival. I think it was shown at the London Film Festival. The initial thing was I think was good, but the release of it was very small. And me and Victor went to see it at that cinema in Bloomsbury Square. I think it's called the Renoir. So it was showing there. So it was like art house circuit thing, not like, oh yeah, front and center, let's go down Leicester Square and hang out. But however, over the years, it's become this. I did a scene in a film called The Book of Clarence, which I don't think is out here yet, but it's been out in the States. My wife was Althea Wood, Oscar nominated, and Lakeith Stanfield was in the thing with me. And he mentioned, because the director, it's a long story, but years and years and years ago, I took a lovely lady off we go and see some films in Bayswater, and we're going to have some food. But we're going into the movie house, because it's multiplex. There's this family walking, coming out. He's got a little kid with him. He's run over to me and starts singing Prospects. I was in a show called Prospect. He starts singing the theme tune to Prospects, but he knew it better than me. And his mom said, "Oh, he's really into, he loves films and stuff. So, well, you keep doing what you're doing, man. Don't let anybody stop you." Do you ever see the film The Harder They Fall? It was a black western. It was on Netflix. Idris Elba was in it.
I'm going to write that down. The Harder They Fall.
Oh, Regina King, who won an Oscar, she's in it. I mean, it's got that kind of cast in it. It's a great story. Well, that was that kid. He grew up and directed that film, and he wanted me. My agency before, he was trying to get hold of me, and they kind of messed up. So when I was on with Zoe, he got in contact with me again. He said, "Brian, I'm doing this film. I just want you to be in it. It's only a little bit, but would you really come? Because you're big." That was that kid. Turned out to be this amazing director. And he sang Prospects. He knew the words better than me. I was like, oh, I was trying to keep up with him. The sun comes on the sun. I'm a la 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 la. He was right in there.
I'm just going to show you that.
Oh, gosh. Are you kidding me?
This is insane, isn't it? Look at that. That is 1986. 32 pence, the front of the TV Times. Look at you.
Wow.
With Prospects. That is something.
Yeah, that is something. Yeah,
you just mentioned Prospects, so I just had to bring that up. And obviously the Gary Olsen connection.
Absolutely, because Gary, yes, of course, yes. Yeah. That's sad, really, because the last time I saw him, he said to me, it was in West End, it was in town, and he had a script under his arm. It was 24 Hours in London. He said, look, I'm made with these guys, this kind of cartel of people, we're going to buy the rights. Are you off for doing Prospects again? I said, yeah, man. Anyway, so I mean, bless his heart. I mean, there was a lovely memorial for him at the theatre.
Your characters with Prospects, with you and Gary, was absolutely, I mean, for that time, for you two, I watched the episode with you on the boat where you stand in as waiters and there's a bit of a deal going on with the gin and the vodka. And it was so funny.
I mean, that's another thing where over the years, people have come to me. I'm a black old one. That's me, my mate. It's just like me and my mate, yeah.
Yeah.
enough to, so many times, so many places I've been to. I was doing the Scottish play in Africa. Oh, it
Wow.
was a fantastic job. Fantastic. Doing the Scottish play was in Canada. Doing British Council thing. I had some drinks for us, and we were sitting around, and this chap, the minister, we used to be in Kenya, but now we moved to. His wife was gorgeous Ethiopian woman, and she comes to me. She says, "You was in a show called Prospects." Yes. I was like, "Yeah, oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that." I'm like, "Oh, really?" Hmm. I wasn't listening to about that. It's kind of amazing sometimes. People have seen things like Babylon. People called me from the States saying, "Man, there's this video going around, man. Yes, Babylon, man. Yeah, it's great." I mean, Brinsley and Dennis Bovell did a tour of the US quite recently. I said like 2019, and they toured around to the major cities showing the film. And as far as the Americans are concerned, it still holds. I mean, it still holds. They had it was a couple of years ago. We had a 40th anniversary at the Barbican. I was just still kind of like stunned, and the place was packed, and people are mouthing the words to some of the lines, and saying the words.
Ah,
So yeah,
incredible.
I give thanks for that.
So Prospects was so well received. Was there talk of a second series?
I have to admit, it was a tricky one because I don't know if there was a situation of transition. I don't know if it was a situation of we wanted to get it right.
Yeah.
And one of the things for me, I think, in comedy is if you get people laughing with you, it lasts longer than you get people laughing at you.
Mm-hmm.
It was a balancing act, which I think on the whole, in the end, you had to stand up a couple of times and go, I don't think that's going to work, and to take the flack.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing it because I'm trying to be the big I am. I'm doing it because down the road, I know, I can't even tell you how I know. But originally in the story, they called me Billy Boy.
Mm-hmm.
So Pinsy would call me Billy Boy. Billy Boy, Billy Boy. So, and I was like, bro, you got to cut the boy out. Right? That can't work. What? This is the reading. We're in the Isle of Dogs. And I put it to them the best way. Just
Mm-hmm.
can we, little things like, so it was little things like that that in the end turned out to have a thing where it was about friendship, which is what it is. It's about two guys who are friends, and they had to be seen equally. Because if they weren't seen equally, like if I'm the Batman, then it just wouldn't gel in that time. The great stuff was coming out on TV, stuff that challenging people even in the theatre. And so with all of that kind of happening, I thought it was important to just put my hand up and say, excuse me, all right, if we don't. Sometimes you lose the battle. Sometimes they go, okay, then well look, yeah, or give us two. So then we have a choice, that sort of thing. And then they go back and then you'll see it and you go, all right, you did do that thing where it would have made you look like you were still in the 70s because it was the 80s. As I said, people have come up to me, black, young, old, yeah, that's like me and my mate.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you wanted to get. That you needed to get that for it to work. Why it didn't afterwards, it was a long. It was a long job. When we finished, they said, yeah, season 2, brrr. And we're like, yeah, we're knackered. It was like, yeah, wicked. And then we didn't hear anything. And I remember that day when that came because across the way was in East London. We were, on the island. We were shooting, and everything was getting blown up. Everything was getting taken down. So guess what was on just 500, maybe 1,000 yards down the road there? Full Metal Jacket's being filmed. The Gasworks in October. It was just we could see the thing in October when they were playing Vietnam. We could see it. And I was like, let's come over there, man. And they were like, no, you don't want to go over there because Stanley, you don't like it when man come in and mess it. mess their things up and rah, rah, rah. You know, I was like, no, I just wanted to go in there, pretend I was one of the extras playing the, so I could just be in it, just be in the background of one of the shots, playing the soldier. Yes, sir. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just put it in the slide down. And then years later, people go, wait a minute. Is that Brian? But I think we might have been a little radical. Oh, also the fact of the matter is that they showed it the first time and it did all right, but it was the second time that they showed it. It was the repeat of it that people really, but by that time, I think they'd made the decision to go and do more minor because it was a safe bet. Maybe man, no minder. This was a nice little experiment where we got the two boys and rare. But by the time they made that decision, then they repeated it because it was an election time. So everybody was focused on telly and it blew up.
Oh, what a career, Brian.
Well, yeah, the best is still coming ahead, one hopes.
This is Natalie Rolls, and you have been listening to the Bill Podcast. Brought to you in association with GeorgeFairbrother.com, shop.saturdaymorningpress.co.uk, vanguardcomics.co.uk, and gibconsultancy.co.uk. The Bill Podcast is produced by Oliver Crocker, co-produced by Ben Adams, Glenn Allen, Glenn Cooney, Georgina Dark, Sarah Kuiper, Bryony Kelly, Maz Mirabilis, Alex Mockler, and Simon Wolfe. Our executive producers are Isabel Allen, Ben Ashmore, Mark Bennett, Rob Cook, Alana Dewar, Andrew Dyack, Dan Evans, George Fairbrother, Stuart Gibbon, Luke Hegarty, Robert Hoger, Edward Kellett, James Ledane, Thomas Johnston, Gary Moncur, Danny Morris, Steph Morris, Laura Pinney-Fay, Alistair Wrigley, Michael Seeley, Nicholas Shaw, Angel Stannard, Paul Statter, Patrick Stratford, Michael Weil, and Sarah Went. Huge thanks to all you lovely producers who make the Bill Podcast possible. Bye for now.